For the Norm Smith, wide open betting affair here, OB. If you're looking for a real bit of Ric Flair, which Toprope likes, my picks for either side would be Smith on a wing for Geelong at $41 and also Blakey.
Hello and welcome to Little Birdie's Sports Show for a Monday First Look. I'm your host, Nikki Sylvester. Joining me today is MG. We're going to go through the AFL Grand Final. We've also got Toprope on the line for two amazing games of NRL that were over the weekend. First Look is proudly brought to you by Little Birdie TV, topsport.com.au, Punting Form and Manscaped for the very best in men's grooming. MG, how are you?
Morning, Nikki. I'm not too bad, actually. Just AFL season all packed away. We've got our grand final winner. I know everyone will know, but obviously the Cats dismantled the Swans on Saturday. Yep. It was probably a script that going into the week where we kind of analysed it in, we just probably thought Geelong were just travelling the better, the stronger side, and Sydney probably had to change something up early in the first quarter. And unfortunately, they came out too meek and mild, and the game was over before quarter time. So it was a bit of a recession after that, but that's all right. We'll unpack it a bit later. We had a bit of luck with the total sailing over, which was the only sting of the of the week. But for a bit of Ric Flair punters, which I know Toprope always forces me to tip a bit of Ric Flair. We got the Norm Smith medalist at the $41, so there was some joy towards the back end of the game.
Okay, you had a great weekend. You were very excited. Now, Toprope, I'm going to go to you because you told me in the second game, I sent you a quick message and I said, who have you got for first try scorer? And you said you had Cody Walker. And then, I don't know, how many minutes after you sent me a text message like, bang.
It wasn't long after, Nick. It was a nice little result. We didn't quite get the cash with either of the main plays. So I was very keen on the Cowboys in the first game against the Eels. They looked to have them on toast, 20-12 up with 20 to go in very hot and humid conditions, but they were very, very poor, and the Eels come back to book themselves just their third grand final since 1986, the year of their last premiership. And
did you tip that, or did I tip that? I was wondering.
I certainly didn't tip it, Nikki, so I'm guessing you were the one who tipped that, so congratulations again.
I'd stayed quiet up until now.
You did very well, very well. And in the second game, I was... South for a good chance at the plus on that. They certainly looked that way. They were up 12-0 early, let in a pretty ordinary try with about 4 to go, 12-6. And then in one of the most stupid plays you will ever see on a football field in a preliminary final, they got a chance to get the ball back just on halfway. They could work for a field goal, go up 13-7. Latrell Mitchell, who dead set had a -2 out of 10 game, decided to throw another heinous pass out wide, dropped straight into the arms of Brian Tuttle, who then goes and gives Cody Walker the big don't argue and scores miraculously 12 all half-time. The Panthers were never losing it from there, coming out and won 32-12.
I agree with you. That game was insane. That first 20 minutes, the Rabbitohs were all over the Panthers. They were all over them, and you just thought it was going to be a really different game to what it ended up being. But yeah, as you say, they had some pretty loose passes. They made a couple of errors. They got a man sent off, and then that was it.
First send-off in 28 years in finals, so it was
right.
Pretty big moment. But the key of the game was how just they worked Latrell Mitchell over from beginning to end, and his fitness or lack thereof really told him. One of the problems when you get a talented player like Mitchell and they get found wanting and they're certainly not putting in the work that's required, they try and overcome that with by trying to create some kind of magic play. And there were 3 or 4 times there where he was throwing big, long, hard cut-out passes that just weren't on, and they just put the ball on. It proved costly in the end. That would go up there as one of the 10 or 12 worst performances in preliminary final. Let's say it was a shocking performance.
And it's just set it up for an amazing grand final. Like, the NRL could not be happier than how it's turned out. I read your piece this morning that you wrote, and you are right. Like, it is a dream final for them to get the 2 biggest clubs in the Western, for the West into a grand final. It's just insane. Huge.
Yeah, it's absolutely massive, and I guess in a week when AFL Grand Final has the worst ratings ever, and people are clearly losing interest in the Victorian code, you get a genuine rivalry in an NRL Grand Final. And to be honest, in the NRL era, there's probably only ever been one genuine rivalry in a grand final, which was the Cowboys and Broncos in 2015. That game went to Golden Point, miraculous game. So huge. The epicenter of the NRL and NRL strategy and where the game's thinking under Peter Blaines is certainly moved to the west of Sydney. And look, they've been given every favour, these two teams. They've got every decision throughout the final series. It's orchestrated or not. The NRL have got exactly who they want in the final. So it's going to be an absolute blockbuster.
I cannot wait. Now, give me a quick recap of the President's Cup in the golf.
President's Cup in the golf. Well, from a personal point of view, Justin Thomas losing today was an absolute debacle. Cost me the top US scorer there, so I thought it was an absolute morale. But yeah, the US won reasonably comfortably, probably as comfortably as most thought. Australia fought back yesterday in both the foursomes and the four ball. And it was a strong day today from the single set, 17.5 to 12.5. I think was the final score. Many had the US winning kind of 20 plus points. So they won again. That's 14 out of 15 now. Never lost home soil, the US. But this was a mismatch on paper from the get go. And the only thing surprising about the result was probably how close it was.
Okay, thank you for that one. And give me a little recap on the NFL as well.
NFL, another huge morning at the NFL. I'm sure MG was up at 3 a.m. as well. But, we might work our way backwards a little bit here, but it's remarkable. And one thing with the NFL that kind of defies, but probably explains its popularity. How many games go down to the line in the final 2 minutes? You had the Rams -3. They were battling to defend an 11-point and 8-point lead, which could have gone either way at the end there. Packers +1.5 had to stop a 2-point conversion in the last 20 seconds of play there. We had Seattle, +1.5 point dogs, 27-23. They won that. It was remarkable. So in terms of kind of notable performances, Buffalo and Kansas City, they both lost. So the two total favourites there both went down. New England went down again, and there, Mac Jones looks like he might be hurt, so that's a concern. I'm sure you've got a few thoughts on that. And Minnesota pulled out a last-ditch win to get Detroit, and Tennessee held off a 2-point conversion to knock off the Raiders. MG, what did you take away from this morning?
Yeah, no, what I took away from it, as you said, it's amazing how many games just keep being live deep into the contest. And I know they stack the card in terms of so many games on, but already the end of week 3, there's only 2 undefeated teams: Miami Dolphins and the Eagles, and not too many teams too many tipsters would have put that up as there are only 2 undefeated teams, and already in week 3, at the end of week 3, I know we've got one still to come. The Giants tomorrow are still undefeated. It just shows how even they are, how many close games there are, and it's amazing. The scoring still not up there, top rope. I know that there was a bit more of an even split in the scoring. There were some high scoring games, but still plenty of the defenses seem to be on top overall.
Yeah, definitely, especially in some games you'd probably expect there to be plenty of points in, like the Packers Bucks game and the Philadelphia Washington game. You're seeing what I've kind of noticed a lot over the last couple of years is you are getting a lot more aggressive defense, trying to force fumbles, knock the balls out, and stuff like that, and usually kind of done in the other team's offensive competition. So you're seeing a lot more turnovers, I think, and that's kind of without kind of delving too deep into the stats, but you are seeing a lot of teams without any weapons. Look at the Patriots. That was a high scoring game today. I don't know how the Patriots score a single point. Like they've got absolutely nothing at wide receiver. They've got no game breakers. And then you look at teams like the Rams, who have got plenty of offensive weapons, just can't kind of get over the hump there on the goal line. So I think kind of defenses are getting away with a bit more this year. It's certainly a bit more on the line anyway. So still plenty of enjoyment from my point of view. But we're not getting the shootouts we did maybe a couple of years ago.
And just a reminder that Toprope and Jerry both have NFL packages, and you can get that for $22 a week in the Little Birdie TV shop. And remember to tune into Third and Long as well with the boys. But $22 a week, as you hear, plenty of games, plenty of stuff to bet on, and the NFL seems like it is getting off to an amazing season. So we're going to get straight into the AFL now. Geelong, they thrashed Sydney 133-52. MG.
Yes, it was part of the, Toprope did touch on it early with the ratings being so poor. Part of that reason, Toprope, no doubt, was the New South Wales sent down a side that was insipid on the day. So unfortunately, a lot of people would have tuned out after quarter time when it was 40-6. So next time,
sounded like a lot of people didn't tune in before then.
Next time Sydney want to send down a team to play in a premiership, maybe they can have one that turns up on the day. So that was very disappointing from your state representative there, Toprope.
I'd be quite happy if you took both them to South Melbourne. You took GWS back to Victoria and for us to send teams down.
Yeah, unfortunately, some people had some live tickets into Sydney for the premiership. Thought they might have done a better performance on the day, but my take on the game coming into it, which we did discuss on the Thursday when OB was here, was just like, Sydney had to really go off centre to start the grand final, and I was really disappointed in the first few minutes that not one Geelong player was sat on their tail. To say that they were here to play, they just let Geelong get into their rhythm, and they cranked through their gears too quickly. And unfortunately, the game was over inside the first quarter. So after that, we were just cheering for all the rest of the stuff that Toprope loves to have a bet on, goal kickers and stuff like that. Unfortunately, even Tom Hawkins, we kind of nibbled on him for the 3, 4 and 5 goals. He managed to kick 3 goals, 4. We did have a bit of luck late with the Isaac Smith, as we said, winning the Norm Smith medal. So people who invested on the picks there, the value pick at the $41, he picked up the Norm Smith medal. But other than that, Geelong finished the year amazingly, Nikki. They had 16 straight victories. They were the best side all year, and they certainly showed that on the last day, led by their captain. I thought, he set the scene unbelievably. Even though they started him on the bench, which they had done for the majority of a lot of the games, especially on the back end of the year, he came on 12 disposals in the first quarter. And I thought, unlike Sydney, showed the true leadership and really set up the game. So he was very impressive for mine, and I'd be surprised if he doesn't go around again next year. I know it is his 4th title, and he is of age and stuff like that, but just the way he finished off, he'll sit down and sort that out. But an amazing game. He's, from a true leader that, got the job done. And there was other highlights, obviously. Isaac Smith, who was a Norm Smith medalist, has won his 4th premiership as well. Dangerfield got his first to complete an unbelievable CV that he has in the game now. So, but just take on the game. Geelong were awesome all day. They had probably no weaknesses coming into the game, which is a preview. That's why I thought Sydney really had to try something left of centre to at least put themselves into the game. But Geelong on every line, they've got some amazing stories. Obviously feel for Max Holmes, who didn't come up on the game. Very brave decision by the coach, Scott. It was his call. The doctors had ticked off on him to say he was right to go, and it was Scott's call to leave him out. Whether, right or wrong, we'll never know. But, it just shows what I guess a selfless team Geelong have been, and they rely on their depth. And Parford, who took his spot, ended up kicking a goal and did contribute to the game. So, so that was probably the only downside of the whole thing. But I think Geelong will do their best to include him.
Well, they were super classy. Like just watching the last little bit that I did, because like some people, when you saw the score, you thought, oh no, here we go. But they were really classy. And I think the thing that really strikes me about the team is just how much they really enjoy each other's company. They seem to really get on well. They've got a lot of respect for each other. They seem to play well for each other, want to be there for each other. It seems like the players with families really get on well together. So maybe that is the reason that they were just understated all year. And, all of a sudden they've come to the finals here and everyone was talking about Melbourne going back to back, and well, not me, but everyone was talking about Melbourne going back to back, and all of a sudden the smoky is Geelong, and here they are. Like, they've just pulled off an insane performance in the grand final. And what did you say? Mike was one of the top 5 biggest winning margins?
Most dominant win, and also their age list, I think, averaged 28, which was
insane.
One of the oldest age lists in history. Toprope, you would have seen the pre-game entertainment. You would have been pretty happy with that, wouldn't it? Your mate Robbie Williams with a special guest from Delta Goodrum singing. You would have enjoyed that.
Didn't say it, MG. It was a kid's birthday party. That's how relevant the AFL Grand Finals up here. So I got home about half-time, saw that the game was nearly over, watched a bit of racing, just got a little look in from you, seeing how your 41 shot was going. I was a bit up and about then, and then certainly tuned in to watch it go over. And then don't undersell yourself, MG. You tipped first goal scorer, I think Cameron and Papley, but some degenerates also like to back your first scorer bets as last goal scorers. So Papley last goal scorer as well. So well done.
Oh, and he got it in the last 30 seconds too.
Well, he did knock off Cameron, so who did have it there with who did have it beforehand. So you got the last two.
Too good, Jew. You don't miss a bet. Seriously, too good, Jew.
High bet count on the weekend. Very high bet count on the weekend.
Yay! I've been waiting all year to use that. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay, because the AFL Grand Final was a total whitewash, let's go through the season. So 71% of faves won, 52% of covers, 56% of over totals, and 61% for the home teams. Yeah,
so just quickly, we use pretty much 70% as the under and over for how they go in the year. So it's pretty much bang on for that. As you can see, very even. Hard to win on the line, betting almost 50% there. Was a higher scoring season overall at 56%. So... and the home team's probably that was probably just down a bit. I think that should be more 65 is probably the medium there. So it's 61% was a bit lower, but not a bad season. The stats are what the stats are.
Okay, let's go straight to the stings for the week. All right, after the grand final, he had one bet, but he bet big on it, 3 units, and that resulted in a plus 2.73 units, and for the season, 277.5 units. Bet that was resulted in plus 34.32 units, and it is a final result of 12.36%. That's insane, really.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Toprope and I are pretty happy with how the season went. Finishing 12%, you'll take that every day.
Of course you would.
Oh, sorry, every year. The grand final is always pretty hard to do. It kind of said the line came out a bit cheap at the 7. Yep. It did get up to as high as 12 and 13 and then just checked itself on the day back to 11 with Holmes not playing. But, obviously that was an easy cover. But I really like the total going into the day. I just think that definitely some media and stuff that I watched during it thought that, it was going to be wet and, there was going to be showers and stuff. I'm not sure what weather reports they were looking at because at any stage there wasn't going to be rain during the day. I'm not sure if that transferred over to the bookies, maybe to having it low side. Just thought they were probably at least a goal short in the total. It didn't matter anyway. It got to 185. We did have a bit of a poor start. The first probably 8 or 10 minutes, I don't think there was too much scoring. But then when they released the gas, it was a pretty easy watch. So very happy on the year, 12%. So I'll be doing very well to try and reproduce that kind of stuff next year. But pretty happy to win that.
The punters, if you were on the stings, you'd be absolutely pumped with that 12% for $22 a week. I mean, you can't go better than that. All right, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to be back with NRL because now we've got some grand finalists in the NRL. Welcome back to First Look, proudly brought to you by topsport.com.au. Family owned and operated for over 35 years. Bet with a bookie you can trust. Bet with TopSport. Okay, we're going to get straight into week 3 of the finals for the NRL. Okay, Parramatta. They beat North Queensland 24-20. Who thought that was going to happen? Me. Penrith, they beat South 32-12.
Yeah, we kind of broke the games down earlier, but Parramatta game certainly didn't surprise you, but it was an upset according to the market, and it was a pretty impressive performance from a team not really renowned for kind of having the mettle, but they've jumped kind of beyond week 2 of the finals, which was the big knock on Brad Arthur. This is 4 final series in a row for them now. They'll go into the grand final big underdogs, but they are against one of their main rivals in Penrith. So you'd have to imagine they'll be lifting for that. And the Panthers, look, they looked a little underdone. They were a bit shell-shocked early in the game against South. South were all over them, as mentioned earlier. But I guess the thinness of the South roster come forward. They're playing Milne. I know got sent off for some pretty thuggish behaviour. He's got 6 weeks for it. But before that, he was dropping balls. He was dreadful on the high ball. They were spotting him out. So very, very ordinary team selection there. Latrell had an absolute shocker. And look, there's absolutely no question that Latrell is one of the best players in the game. But whether fullback's his right position or not, I'm not 100% convinced either. So you just compare him to Dylan Edwards, who was the best player on the field for Penrith, who was everywhere. he was absolutely he's making tackles and getting back and saving tries in the one play. So, really, really special performance from him. That's onwards and upwards. Penrith are just the third team now, the NRL era, to make it to 3 straight grand finals. And Parramatta, they are in their 3rd grand final since 1986. They were heavily favoured in 2001, got beaten by Newcastle. Not expected to do much against the Storm in 2009, and certainly didn't. And now we'll go and be outsiders again. So, the Eels fans up and about. Panthers fans probably more expected that they'd be here. So, they've been short price favourites all year. So, it's certainly going to be one hell of a game, that's for sure.
And am I right in saying that, so Penrith have made 6 grand finals in total, but obviously 3 of those have been in the last 3 years. Like, it's amazing. Like, if you think about how good their team is now, currently, that's a pretty big start. Like,
yeah, this Penrith made back-to-back in 1991 and 103, and that's been it. And, generally for the kind of first 20 years of the NRL era, aside from their kind of premiership run and kind of year or two surrounding that, been a very underwhelming side. Phil Gould went in there in 2013 on the back of a wooden spoon to rebuild, pathways at the club, to re-look at, how we're getting local juniors, through taking away the kind of fat at the top of the roster. And, like it or not, Penrith are built for kind of future success because they've got, just a stream of talent coming through. No one's got a bigger junior talent base than Penrith. So, I win or lose on Sunday night. I don't think this will be the end of it.
Okay, let's have a quick look at the bookie wrap. All right. So 1 of 2 faves, 1 of 2 covers, 2 of 2 over totals, and 1 of 2 for the home teams, which takes us to 70% of faves for the season, 52% of covers, 54% of over totals, and 58% for the home teams.
Yeah, not a lot in that for the year. It's all kind of evened out there. As MJ said earlier, favourites 70% is about spot on. To make profit on an over-under or a cover, you need to be hitting at 54%, and we saw that with the over total. And we've got finals have certainly been going over, but the totals kind of pulled back. So both totals went over this weekend. So something to look at, but I haven't given the grand final a good look at yet. But my inclination when these two teams meet each other is that the under is going to play.
Let's have a quick look at the GGOA. All right. So for the finals week 3, we did have 2 games. That was 5.5 units bet, and that did result in a minus 5.5 units. But for this season, you've had 361 units bet. That is plus 35.56 units, and it is returning 9.85%, and you've still got the grand final to come. I'm pretty excited.
Very pumped up, and one of my favourite betting opportunities for the year is the Clive Churchill medal. We saw the man of the match throughout Origin. I think we might hit all 3, or we were pretty close to them. So definitely at least a couple. So I've got a few angles to play for the Clive Churchill medal. So those who want to just jump on for this week, you can get a full package that'll include some Clive Churchill medal plays.
Yeah, that's not bad. $22. You definitely jump on for the finals, because I imagine you're going to absolutely fill that out. You're going to pack it out. You're going to find every bet.
I'm going to find 1 million bets. And the publishers to be determined, but I'll find 1 million bets. Don't worry about that.
Oh my God, I love it. Okay, let's have a quick look forward to the grand final. So here we go. Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. Penrith are taking on Parramatta. $1.36 Penrith, Parramatta $3.15. The line looks to be a flat 8 at the moment, with the over-unders 37.5.
Yeah, first thoughts here were that this line might be a little large. The Eels have tended to play Penrith pretty close. Like, I know they got blown out in week 1 of the finals 27-8, but they were up 8-7 when Mitchell Moses went off hurt, and the Panthers got away late there. I'm kind of swinging back a little bit towards Penrith here. I've just got to try and separate my disdain for Parramatta and what the right bet is in this one. So it might take me a little while as a Bulldogs fan. You want to see the Bulldogs win, and the next best result is Parramatta not winning. So there's certainly an element of that in there as well. So, the one thing I'm confident on is I think this is going to be a very low-scoring game, which will probably lead to vice, but I think a low-scoring game is where we need to bet.
Okay. I remember that was my first year that I ever moved to Sydney, that Parramatta played Newcastle in the final, and they actually ran out of jerseys. You could not buy a Parramatta jersey anywhere, because that's how many people got behind Parramatta. It was insane. I can't... You literally couldn't buy anything if you wanted it. It didn't exist. It was amazing. Like, that's how much people get behind Para. I think it's going to be huge. I can't wait.
And as sick as it is to say, I think they probably are the most popular team in Sydney. certainly they're currently sit second in NRL memberships and lead all clubs in Sydney. So, and this was before I went on a grand final run. So, I think much like probably Richmond in the AFL a few years ago, they've kind of been long regarded as the sleeping giant. They're in the throes of the longest premiership drought. So, once the top is off, it's going to be pretty wild out there. So, early look though that you certainly couldn't rule them out of it. In a low scoring game, at least getting the plus 8 points, you would think that they would have to be in the mix here. And we'll save the full analysis till one. I'll do some actual work on the game and kind of break it down and put the ratings and all that in. But this is usually a pretty hard fought, stoic duel kind of game. So I would expect that. Penrith are clearly a better side on paper. Games aren't won on paper, and the Eels have been wound up to the hilt the last couple of weeks, but they've delivered both times. So, and you've got to be a little bit worried about Penrith being underdone. If they played like the first 20 minutes against Parramatta probably would have put 24 points on them. So, and the game could be over by that stage. So, something to kind of delve into. But Parramatta fans, as of Monday, will certainly be up and about.
Of course they will. Okay. Just that again, the GGOA, $22 a week in the Little Birdie TV shop, $22 a week. He's going to have a million bets for you going into the grand final. That we can get that for $22 a week. All right, MG, it's about that time.
Yes, Nikki, we've got the conclusion to the charity event for the year. So as people who've been following the show know, Top Sports have been giving us $100 per week to have our best bets on a Monday. And we've come up with the final leaderboard, although it's been over for a good month or something like that. It's still been padding the wallet. So you can see about our usual for most of the year, but 2 out of 3 from us, which has been pretty solid work for a Monday. So the grand final, over 62.5 there for myself. So that covered pretty easily. After a slow start, I finished 185. So was never really in doubt. And then you guys, the two Nicks, went head to head. And Nikki's defeated Toprope, put him in the cellar dweller. He's not happy about it too, Toprope. He started like a house on fire, was chirpy the first three or 4 weeks, but Nikki's gone head to head with him in the last game and showing him up. So there you can see the final tally. So 19 winners and 10 losers for the year at $100 a throw. So we've been lucky enough to raise $1,900 for charity for this year, and the charity that I did represent was Love Me, Love You. And right now we've got in studio the founder of this charity. Actually went to school with this man, Lance Paccioni. How are you?
Goodie, how are you?
Good, thanks, mate.
See you.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, good to see you in. Thanks for coming in to pick up the cash.
It's always a nice meeting when you're going to pick up the cash, isn't it, mate? You wouldn't have got me in otherwise. No, joking.
No, I know. You had a long list of mans. I said we weren't serving breakfast or anything like that. So just give us a bit of background about yourself. You were you played plenty of football at school, obviously, and then you were drafted in the AFL. So that's how I guess it kind of ties in with this show a bit in terms of your charity. But just for the charity side of it, how did you come about? And just give us a bit of background of how the charity is
how
going.
we come about it, mate. We're coming up next year. Will be 10 years since I founded the organisation. Based on my lived experience, so we're mental health and suicide prevention. That's what we do. And going from a time 10 years ago, this type of conversation wasn't even had. To where we are now, where it's more readily acceptable in terms of society's ability to have conversations and understandings and understand the journey that we're all on, and where we are on that continuum. Changes every day, right? Yep. So based on my lived experience, as I said, living with anxiety and depression right through my sort of teenage years, even in my AFL years, and then masking that like a lot of people do through drugs and alcohol, got me to a point that in 2011 I had my last suicide attempt, and then thought there's more to life than what I was doing at the time, and let's do something about it. So very lucky that I had the support from my people, my family and my wife, and enabled me to get me to a position of moving forward and having my tomorrow. So I thought, that's what it was about. And now we're going to schools, sports clubs is our big focus. It's a big focus for us. And I know the safe environment that sports clubs provide to a lot of people, the community space that it is, going to workplaces, delivering a whole heap of types of programming, just to help people understand a bit more about their space and what it looks like and what it feels like, and how do they actually create more positive sort of well-being and mental health frameworks, sort of thing. When I say frameworks, we're not here to sort of give people the answer of this is what you should do. This is what we could do, and this is how we can go about it. And then, we've got accredited programs, peer support training programs that are accredited from Suicide Prevention Australia, which is a big thing for us. And we do a lot of the support work on the other side. Yep. So that's what we do. And, it's a battle every day. The charity space is a battle every day. Sometimes you sort of headbutting walls to see where you're going and why you're going to do it. And then you see the impact that we have as an organisation on the people in the community, and it keeps driving you forward. Yeah.
Tremendous, yeah. So I guess if people want to get involved or get behind, like what, obviously we've got your message up there. Where's a website that they can even get involved with, or what are your major events during the year, I guess, that raise the capital for you to keep going?
There's multiple avenues of how people get involved or organisations get involved with us. It's for us, it's about enabling more programming in with their organisation, and that's how we sort of create the impact. So reach out to us at lovemeloveyou.org.au. Pretty simple. But so we have a couple of big fundraising events that we do. Big walk called March With Me, which is in March. And we've got a big ride coming up. Choose Your Own Adventure virtual riding. We can do it from anywhere they want, or do whatever they want. I'll be this year. It's called Ride With Me. I'll be doing it this year, just riding to the park with my son. And that's as simple as I'll do it. So the previous years, last year, to do the fundraising component of this event, I did an Everesting. So for those people that know cycling sort of thing, it's the equivalent of riding up Mount Everest all in one go. So, so I'll tame it back a little bit this year because my 7-year-old son doesn't think he's up for an Everest. So, and I don't think I'm carrying the weight that I should be for an Everest either. So, but it's just different ways of getting involved. But what we're trying to do is for us to create the impact, for get people to champion the cause and the conversation and the programs into their organisation, so that they can have the impact that we believe people deserve.
Yeah. Might put up Nikki to do the ride this year. Then how far's the ride?
I'll do it as far as you want. Literally, it's, there's different people do it for goals. It's just about the awareness component. And Nikki, you're having to sort of do the tandem bike with Goodie. Good luck. Good luck for that one. But I would pay good money to see you in Lycra though, mate. That's for sure.
Yes.
No, we won't be recording.
Let's get that on Twitter. Can we get a poll up?
He used to be a good bike rider back in the days. Got people who do know me have got pretty reasonable sized calves to push the pedals over. But we might convince Nikki to do the ride. So when you're doing the ride, do people support you by kilometres or what?
It's whatever they want.
Okay.
And that's just really.
So that's just to create the awareness.
It's just we call it as choose your own adventure.
Okay.
We've got one guy in Brisbane that's doing what they call a rolling Everest, and all in one go, he's going to ride over 500 kilometres and over 10,000 metres all in one go. So there's the things, but we're not asking people to do that.
Yeah.
We're asking people just to use the power of an event like this to create conversations, create awareness, create understandings, and they fundraise through their different pages, to sort of help us at Love Me Love You be able to subsidise more programming into sports clubs, because we know sports clubs, they run on the smell of an oily rag.
Yes.
So we believe it's trying to make it programming as much as accessible as possible, which is a big part of it. So, for us then the support works, part of our work that we do is it's not just saying, okay, let's raise awareness, all that sort of stuff. We actually, with one of our partners, we provide free counselling programs for people to be able to access. So, which, for us, it costs money, and for our partner, it costs, but we provide it to the community for free.
Yep.
It's a big thing.
Okay.
Amazing.
Well, hopefully, a bit of small part that the $1,900 raised on this show can go in some small way to helping out. Also, the awareness. We've been talking about our charities, obviously, for 2 shows a week for nearly 30 weeks now. So hopefully, the awareness or the names are getting out there of our charities, and it can help out in some small part. But appreciate you letting me be, I guess, tipping for you for the year.
I appreciate it, Goody. After all these years, mate, it's been like 30 years nearly since
let's not age us.
Back in the day. So, but
when we were in primary school, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, kinder, right? So it's and that's the thing, right? Having those conversations, being able to sort of talk about it as openly as you all have for the different charities that you're talking about. You never know the impact that it'll have on somebody, right?
Yep.
So it's normalising the process for people to be able to have a conversation, and that's where we need to get to. So I really appreciate it. And I appreciate all the support that's been through. Looking forward to it.
Thanks for coming in and having a chat to us. Really appreciate it.
No, thanks, Woody. Thanks, Nicoletta.
Thanks, Lance.
Cheers.
Okay, that is a wrap for this week's edition of First Look, and this is our last show for the year. So I want to thank MG and Toprope for putting up with me. Also to Borko, our main man behind the scenes, for editing every week, and also for putting up with me. Remember, you can follow us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. All of our podcasts are available on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Store. Remember, there are so many podcasts still to come for the with Little Birdie TV is not done. But you can follow us on social. So we're Little Birdie TV, Twitter and Insta. Remember, all your footy betting action is at topsport.com.au. Just want to thank all of our amazing sponsors. Top Sport, they are really an amazing bookie. Get online, have a look. Spring Carnival's just around the corner. Imagine all the bonuses they're going to be putting out there. Punting form as well. If you're into the races, you need punting form. Also, Manscaped, I'm working on it. These boys next year, you never know, we might have something for you. But thank you so much for joining us each week. I've had an amazing time. Don't forget to join OB and the boys on Thursday because they're going to go through the NRL Grand Final.
I'd just like to thank, on behalf of Little Birdie TV, Nikki, for coming in this year. First up, being on any kind of podcast. I think she's done a tremendous job hosting every Monday. She's sometimes under the weather, but we push through. So I think Toprope and myself, she certainly entertained us throughout the Monday. So I'd just like to thank, on behalf of Little Birdie, your input to the Monday First Look show.
Thank you very much. You know I've enjoyed every minute.
one of the great rookie performances, Nick. It was an absolute pleasure to have you on, and look forward to these every Monday. So well done on debut, and we'll be back bigger and better than ever next year, I imagine.
Oh my God, I can't wait. And I've still got the Spring Racing Carnival to come.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, boys. Thank you so much. Thanks to Little Birdie. Obviously, this has been a highlight of my year. And don't forget, OB will be back with the boys on Thursday to go through the NRL Grand Final. You're not going to want to miss it. Thank you.